Good morning, good evening, welcome to this week's chat. I want to dig right into some of the options that we have when it comes to using more than one camera. So, when we're first starting out our live streaming journeys, we've kind of got this idea of what we want. We may have watched another creator, someone else that inspires us. We're like, we want that setup. And then you start pricing it out and you just have your little heart just goes, ooh, nope, not doing that. And then you think, oh, well, I can't have that. So you kind of like, there's a possibility. For some people, that means they just don't do it at all. Now, for me, that means, what can I do with my budget, which sometimes is not much more than zero, let's be honest, especially when we're getting started. We don't want to go too heavy in unless you're like, and this is the thing, like the word on a budget, right? What does that even mean? What does on a budget mean to you in the chat? Let me know. But for me, on a budget means you've got an idea of how much you want to spend. You have a budget. Because one thing I will tell you is you can't do multicam for nothing, right? So I want to, get it out there that it's you can't do it for nothing if you have nothing. Now, for me, I got drawers of old tech. I've got, all sorts of things going on, and years of like upgrading equipment, and like I've been playing this YouTube game now for like it's coming on 9 years, and you start with one thing, and then as you earn some income and you make some money, you upgrade your equipment, you upgrade your lighting, you upgrade your microphones, you upgrade all your things. Speaking of microphones, sorry, it's a bit warm. I've got a fan blowing, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. I love you all. I'm not turning the fan off, okay? I'm just not. So, and as Doug said here, cameras cost money. Cameras cost money. They do. But there's things that you can get away with as well. Now, right now, I'm streaming on Ecamm. If it works, we've been having some problems, and I don't know if it's Ecamm or if it's my internet. I've changed some settings, so hopefully this solves some of our issues that we've been having. But was it last week? Last week here, this camera wasn't working. This camera was like walking through cement. Everything moves so slowly. And luckily for me, I always have a second camera set up. So having these things around makes it possible. Now you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a whole second camera just to set up. My second camera that I have set up is my old Canon 70D. It was the first camera, like the first actual camera I bought purely with the intention of making videos. Now, I had another, what did I have? It was what's called a bridging camera. I can't remember what it was. It was fine. It's what I made my first couple of videos with, but I hadn't bought it to make videos. I'd bought it to take photos of my stock for my website because I hadn't considered video at that stage. The Canon 70D was my first camera that I bought with the intention of making videos. Now, it has been relegated to the dust pile, right? My husband was like, you should just sell it. You should just sell it. And I'm like, I don't want to sell it. It kind of has, I'm a sentimental person, right? Also, what happens if one of the cameras I have stops working? So, like I don't want to be left with nothing. So I keep, unless something is broken and I'm upgrading or buying a new one because it's broken, I keep my previous technology. Same with my mobile phones. Same with my daughter's mobile phones. I am a technology hoarder. So therefore, I can have multi-stream fairly inexpensively because I already have things with cameras attached to them, right? Now, on my Fiberific channel, which some of you may have already seen or not, I always multicam. So I'm a yarn crafting channel. I want people to be able to see what I'm working on with my hands. So I have a version of this view. Now it's a bit different for the fiberific one, pretty similar, but about the same. So this camera that is here is a webcam. It's not a fancy camera. It's a webcam. And what I learned over the years, which I haven't done it today because I wasn't crafting, is if you light a webcam well, you can actually get really decent footage out of it. Now, admittedly, this one is now a Logitech Brio 4K webcam, but I only stream in 1080p. Why do I choose a 4K webcam knowing I stream in 1080p? So I can zoom in without too much loss, right? So you don't have to have the 4K if you're not zooming in to look at, the minutiae of the detail, right? So you can get away with this stuff without having to go crazy. So that's a really inexpensive, the Logitech Brio 4K. I've no idea what it's in US dollars. It's about 200 Australian dollars. So it's sort of like a mid-range webcam price. Now, when I bought the first one, this is the second one because the first one got weird after about 5 years of use. When I bought the second one, or the first one, I should say, the OBS weren't out. The Link 360s, they're not out. None of those AI-driven cameras were out. When I bought the second one, I had to really decide, do I just want to keep going with the tried and true and trusty, or do I want to try one of these other versions? And when I was looking at them, I'm in Australia, and I make that really clear, so I quite often think in Australian dollars, sorry guys, but the OBSBot that I was looking at the time was about 600 Australian dollars versus $200 for a perfectly suitable webcam. Now, or standard webcam, flat, not PTZ or, pan tilt zoom webcam. It's just I'm pointed here unless you physically move me. Now, as who is it? Livestream Consultant says that the OBSBot have actually brought out a base model. And it's really inexpensive. So if you want to give that a try, you totally could. I haven't tried it. I haven't touched it. I actually personally have not used any of the OBSBots. Home Rapid Repair says the Logitech Brio 4K is about 160 USA, if I'm reading that correctly. Yeah, so they're about 200, 220. They were going down in price, and then COVID hit, and they, like all webcams went crazy. So it was one of those really hard decisions, because did I want to upgrade to new technology? Because I'm like, I love technology. But my bank balance went, hello, no, right? It was like a hello, no. So I needed to make some other decisions based on how how I'm spending my money. Oh yeah, Livestream with John said just search for the OBSBot and saw something for $550. Yeah, so they still have their top of the lines, but I'm not sure if they're released yet, but I know that some creators, like who get the early releases, I saw Harris Heller did a review on one, but they've got an entry level version now, and they are around the 80 to 100 US dollars, which is still decent money for a webcam, but it is a PTZ or PTZ webcam. So, it's got some limitations, but it's also, a lot less money. So while we can go out and buy all this stuff, what have you actually got at home already? What have you already got? Now, luckily I am running Ecamm. So Ecamm is a Mac-based software. So therefore it loves all the Apple things, right? Which is one of the things I actually love about it. And so I'm looking at this from that perspective, but that does not mean that this is the only options, right? This is not it. So because of Ecamm making it so very easy, one of the things that they can do is they're great with both like the Apple stuff and Canon stuff. So this is my, oh, hello, sorry monitor, I moved you. This is my Canon 70D. This is not plugged in with a HDMI cable. This is plugged in with a USB cable. This is a USB connection. So while the 70D does not have a clean HDMI out, will turn off after a set amount of time, but not when it's plugged in with a USB cable. So this is the full screen. I've not cropped anything out. This is just how it looks coming in with it. So you've got to play with some settings on the back of your camera a little bit, just to make sure that not everything's on. But this was a straight USB connection into my computer. And because Ecamm plays nicely with Canon, you can do that. But if you're not on a Mac and you're not using an Ecamm, all you have to do is download the Canon EOS software. During COVID, they created a software patch or software to turn any Canon camera into a webcam. They wanted people to be able to use what they had. Their stores were sold out. Like, I don't know about in the US, but in Australia, because so many people had to work from home, you went into a store that historically sold webcams, printers, and monitors, and it was empty shelves. You couldn't find anything. So being able to use these options of Canon bringing out the EOS webcam software, which works on Mac, which works on Windows, which means if you are using OBS or something like that where you can bring in additional camera sources, then it will work. Now, obviously I'm on Ecamm, so I'm testing it on Ecamm, but it does work also with OBS. Using the USB connection, connecting via the EOS webcam software into OBS, and you are good to go. So it was really, really an awesome thing that they did. And now I've only tested it with my Canon 70D, and also I've got, it's somewhere. Where is it? Over here. I've got a Canon M6 Mark I, which turns off. Now I do connect it with a HDMI. I normally just tap it to make it turn back on. But I haven't tested that one out with the EOS software using the webcam software. So I really should, right? Which I have not. So you can totally have that second camera with a camera that you may possibly already have. Now, when it comes to things like other brands, I'm not entirely sure. So I've only used Canon and Sony, me personally. So when it comes to using other brands, I am probably not the best person to talk to about that. I'm sorry about that. But I'm very happy with using the Sonys, very happy with using the Canons. Now, Livestreaming with John says, the faux battery power pack for the Sony's EV10 was the best investment I ever had. I have mains power to all of my cameras. So my Canon 70D has like a dummy battery that plugs into a PowerPoint. My Sony a6400 has a dummy battery that it actually came with that one. So that one was good. My little Canon M6 has a dummy battery. If you are live streaming, you don't want to be relying on the life of an actual battery. You want it plugged into mains power. So they are the two sort of most expensive that I have. So my Sony a6400 and then my Canon 70D, like that's the old boy. That was when that was 2015 Casey Neistat, I think, or 2016 Casey Neistat model. Believe it or not, that's why I bought it, because Casey Neistat swore by it and he would drop it and it would, be fine. And it took some beating and I'm a bit clumsy. So that's why I did that. Now, I'm just going to go back through the chat here because I have missed some stuff here. Leanne says, my budget means I'd have a set amount of money to spend and whatever it may be at that time. Absolutely. Livestream Consultants is saying hello to everybody. Hello to everybody jumping in. So good to see you all. Doug's here. Well, for lives, even with the lower... works well for lives, even with the lower resolution due to the USB. And that's the thing. There is a lower resolution. I don't stream much more than 1080p. Every now and again, I'll have a go and be, going for the 1440 just to, you know, push the limits, but you really do usually stream at 1080p. And John says, yeah, you really do need to read your camera manuals to find out their quirks. And there's so many YouTube videos as well that can really help you to set these things up. So don't be afraid to go hunting. Russell says, I think choices for a hobby based on a hobby budget are different than you might make for a business. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you'll have a different budget if you're a business versus a hobby. But also if you are just want to dabble. So if you're thinking you may go forward with something with your business, rather than going and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment and then finding out that you absolutely hate doing it, run some testing with some other devices. So I'm going to run through some other options shortly. I remember telling my then business partner just to order some gear right before the lockdown started. Yeah, like it was very full on in Australia because we had the full lockdowns. Unless you were considered a what was the word? Essential worker, which hilariously enough was not my husband who brings in the main income, but was my daughter who worked at Woolworths bagging groceries. So yeah. John says here, just create 2 scenes in OBS, camera 1, camera 2, and switch between them. Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. 3 of my 6 cameras have dummy batteries. The other 3 are webcams, not counting all my old cell phones that can be used. Yes. Oh yeah, John, like this is the thing. Like if you've got a camera that has a clean HDMI, I would use HDMI, absolutely. But if you have a camera that doesn't have a clean HDMI, check out how it looks with a USB. So yeah, Justin has a few words for dabblers. He does. So I'm going to take, I saw the Yeti come up earlier. I am going to take a sip. So some of the alternatives that we have, aside from DSLRs or video cameras or, you know, $600 PTZ cameras, things like that, which are, for most creators, especially when they're getting started, probably out of their budget. Now, most people do have a phone in their pocket, and a phone is useful, right? I'm like, is my phone on Do Not Disturb? I just need to check this. It is on Do Not Disturb. That is good. So we do have our phone in our pocket. And I know for some people that's just not going to be good enough. It's not going to be professional enough. That's fine. That's you, and that is fine. You're allowed to make that decision. But if you're a person who just wants a second camera, you have one main good camera, but you just want a second camera, and you don't want to go out and you know, buy a little webcam for a top-down shot, or the webcam's not not going to quite cut it. I actually think that some of the camera options are better. Not always, but some of them are. So what I want to show you is I've got a couple of things set up here. So I've got, where is it? We've got those of you that have been around. Oh, hang on. We'll just go back to a standard screen. Those of you that have been around a while, you know I've got Louis Cam, right? Louis Cam is my little dog. He's a little bit cute. So I set him up his own camera. So there we go. Just got to move that. He's currently sleeping on a little rug. Now he doesn't have very good lighting there, so I'm just gonna give him some light just so you can see, because it is quite dark in this room except for this particular seat right now. I have turned off everything else. So there's the Louis Cam. He's currently snoozing. That's the little pink thing is a catnip toy. He steals it off the cat. He's just having a little snooze. This is using an iPhone 7 directly connected into Ecamm with a plug, no app on, no Epoch Cam, just a straight up connection. Now, what that does is, I'm going to turn that light off so as not to upset poor boy Lulu having his snooze. Right? So I do have to crop that because all the phone information is on there. So I do need to crop. I mean, admittedly, Louis is quite little. Can I zoom in? I can zoom in on the phone as well. and I can move the phone to center him if I want to do it that way. So, you know, I've got options there, but that is a straight up, that's just a straight up old iPhone 7. It is plugged with its lightning cord into the computer. Now, admittedly, I am using Ecamm, which makes that easier. If you are not using Ecamm, you will need a piece of software called Epoch Cam, right? And so I have an iPad over here. Oops, let's turn Louis off. Sorry, Louis, love you, buddy, but you're in the way. Just temporarily. Where is Louis? There we go, turn him off. Okay, so here I've got like my iPad. Just I've just used an existing overlay that I had, so it's probably not. Yeah, that's right. Dog just minding his own business. Chantelle here. Have 3,000 lumens of brightness. Yeah, and you know what? He didn't flinch, did he? Because he's a good boy. He is a good boy. So there we go. I'll put that one back there. But this guy here, it's just my iPad. It's actually just facing some crochet hooks in a caddy right now. So it's just the iPad, but it is connected with some software called Epoch Cam, right? So that's my tea. I've got my tea in there. There's all my other gear. There's my horrible colored wall. You know, all the stuff going on in the background. That's my 70D. My A6400's hiding behind there. So it is Epoch Cam, which is, you can get the free version or you can get a paid version. The paid version's fairly inexpensive. So that means you can connect your Apple, like, does Epoch Cam work with Android? I don't think it does. I could be wrong. No, it does, but I was going to have to pay for a second license, whereas I pay for one license for all my other stuff. So Epoch Cam totally works to be able to bring out your iPad and your iPhone straight into your computer, right? And again, the iPad is connected with a USB cable. It's a USB-C cable into a hub on my computer. So I've actually, because we all know sometimes computers just don't have enough power jacks. This is working out of a hub. Okay, so I don't have to have it being the connector into directly into the computer. The words weren't working, but whereas I find that with my A6400, it doesn't like going through a hub. It likes to be directly into the computer. It's my only camera that's directly into the computer. Everything else is plugged through via hubs, and this one is in a hub via a hub. So it's like hubbed. Yeah, and that's right. Epoch Cam works using the Elgato camera hub software. Yeah, absolutely. So that is that, and you know, and you've got your computer open. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst angle ever. But there we go. We can switch that to my face view. There we go. You get to see the sticky tape holding the wall up. So you can use it as a face cam, but you would need to get it up to a better height, put it on a stand or something, pile of boxes, whatever it is, it's going to work for you. Do that. So that's that one. And that's just using the iPad. That's just, and that's an iPad Air 4. It's an old iPad, like from 2020. So, yeah, it's a 2020. Now, the other one that we have here is not there. Why are you turned off? There we go. Oh, it's looking at there we go. I'll turn it around. Now, if you are familiar with my Fiberfix streams, this is what I call my close-up cam. So I'm just going to turn off the iPad just so as we can, you know. So again, this is just using a phone. This one's using an iPhone 11. Now, the advantage with the iPhone 11 is I don't have to have it plugged into the computer. It's using, someone will tell me, I can't remember. But it's using Mac software to be able to connect it to the Mac, right? Let me just, I've got a box open that's covering things. So this can just go wherever. Now I've currently got it plugged in, but just to power. Is the desk cam mounted on anything special? Continuity camera, thank you, yes. That's exactly what it is. It's the continuity camera. So it is just doing its thing. And I've got it plugged in, but just because, you know, the phone was nearly dead and it needed power. So there we go, there's my script. Let's not look at that. Okay, so that's using another iPhone. So currently connected, I've just closed the iPad, but currently connected, I have an iPhone 7 going directly through power, directly into a hub, which is also double hubbed actually. So into a hub, into a, it's a high, second hub is an OWC high quality hub. The hub that it's plugged into is just a Ugreen unpowered hub, right? So you've just got these things just plugged in. Now these are just things I have in the house. Now a little while ago I did remove it, and because I lent the webcam to somebody who couldn't get a webcam, but I had the old stock standard C920, you know, Logitech C920, and I had it connected to the light fitting in my room with an extension cord for the USB and plugged that in. And I was getting this great overhead shot. And I was using that in OBS as well because it's just a webcam. So being able to have, oh, I'll just change screens here. Being able to have these options for just, it's an old webcam. It was my first webcam. It was the first webcam I purchased. And I got it on sale from a Dick Smith store that was shutting down because we've lost Dick Smith stores in Australia now. They were fantastic. It was out of its packaging. I scored it for like $40 and it worked for like, it's still working as far as I'm aware. So I bought it in 2016. It's a power horse, so it's still going. I remember thinking how great the Logitech C920 was, and now I look at those videos and think, wow, that was actually pretty ordinary. Look, I think it depends on what your expectation is. If you're comparing the C920 to this, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. Absolutely. But for that overhead shot, it was clear enough. It wasn't crispy, but it was clear enough. But they need good lighting. So if you want to try and use some of these more inexpensive webcams, you may have to spend a little bit more on your lighting to try and, you know, help them out. They just need a little bit of help. Some of the newer webcams don't need as much help with lighting as the old ones do. So just keep that in mind as well. Doug misses Dick Smith. I really do. I spend a lot of time in those stores. Russell says I have the C920 mounted here as a backup, and it's a perfectly good backup. Absolutely. I didn't settle for the C920. I went for the C930. I went for the one that was on sale. That's what I did. And so having these around, Russell has his as backup because, you know, now he's upgraded to much better quality cameras, but he hasn't thrown it out. It's still there because it still worked. And that's the thing. The iPhone that I have connected on continuity cam, this guy here, that can just look at, oh, how much battery have I got? Can I unplug it? Yeah. This guy here that I can bring in to show how my webcam is set up, what it's connected to, the arms it's connected to. A bit dusty. Good job, Chantelle. Should have dusted that off before I showed you. But this phone is useless for anything else because its screen is broken and it just constantly swipes apps. Like even trying to get in to just fix an app, like just turn an app off, nightmare. But continuity cam works like a champ, right? The continuity cam works amazingly. So it was the iPhone my daughter replaced because she couldn't use it. It was useless. And it's not the screen, protector, it's the actual screen, and it's pressed in on a corner. So it's doing stuff that You know, it's doing stuff that is frustrating, but it works as a continuity camera. And maybe it's a bit, it can be a little bit glitchy, but basically this one was going to be landfill. So I get to use, I get to use all this stuff anyway, right? So I get to use all my things no matter what, which is great. Now, I've got a cord connected to something that's driving me insane. Now, for me personally, with how I run my live streams, like when I have my table view, I don't like having cords and things running everywhere, right? I don't. It does drive me a little bit insane. So I like to try and have everything out of the way. You know, this cord's stuck behind there. I'll throw that over the back. We won't need the iPad anymore for today. But I like to be able to have it nice and clear. So I like to be able to run all my cords around the outside, which is one of the reasons why I love the continuity cam. No cords, right? No cords. But cords are great if you don't have a good Wi-Fi connection, or if you don't have a good connection to your computer. So, or it's just straight up, you know, close enough to use a cord. I'll use a cord because then you don't have to worry about, you know, also keeping an eye on power. But the continuity cameras are fantastic if you've got access to Wi-Fi, a solid Wi-Fi, and you can, I can go over there and mount it to the wall and have it facing this way. You've got a lot of options with continuity cam. It's not to say it's perfect. It's just an option, right? None of these things are perfect. None of these things are foolproof. These are options. Oh, welcome to the chat, Yacht Waypoint. Great to see you. Russell says, I have yet to have a subscriber comment on my cameras or video quality, so I focus more on my content, which I get a lot of comments about, than tech gimmicks. That's true. That's true. If you've got great content, it's going to be fine, pretty much whichever camera that you're using. But this is more about having a multi-camera setup. So if you've only got one camera and you're trying to get a second shot in, so like this setup right now, I've got one camera for my face, I need one for my hands. So being able to unbox something, being able to have a, you know, crafting, like, cause I originally did it for a crafting channel. Having these options and being able to, you know, control that and have it come in. We're really talking about multi-cameras and the options that we've got to have a secondary camera. So whether you want to, you know, some people can just go out and buy a nice expensive, you know, A6400 or, you know, A7S or whatever it is that you want, have drill into the ceiling and mount it down. I personally can't do that. And so I'm just sharing some of the options that I have here for those as well that aren't ready to go and do some of those bigger, expensive purchases to have their second camera. So, you know, there's so much proof that in these unboxings and hand shots, having the face with the connection to the camera makes such a huge difference, which is why we go to the effort to have that secondary camera. You know, doing multiple camera switching, so just switching between this one and this one, that's a little more gimmicky. That's a little more, maybe not as necessary, right? And that's fine. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But for me, this is a backup camera, which I am so glad I had set up because last week I needed it for the stream because this one played up and I needed that one. The monitor's still up too high. There we go. And so having this one set up and all ready to go was great. So we're talking specifically about setting up a second, oh, it's your secondary account. Okay. I was thinking how many yacht channels are following me? So having a second camera for, like, you know, this angle and, you know, being able to just, you know, go from here to here and just being able to do that, that is great, right? It's fun. But if you need a secondary shot for something specific, like, if you need something specific for, you know, like a table view, then you have to have a second camera. Now you're asking here, having the keyboard blur and unblur as you wave your hands is a bit distracting. Can you set that to a fixed focus? You absolutely can. You can. It'll depend on the camera that you have set up. It'll depend on the software that you're using, but you absolutely can. I personally don't. Usually there's not a keyboard under here. I don't usually keep a keyboard, so it's not trying to focus. And I'll be working and crafting. I have it set up with a different zoomed in, so it's more focusing on my hands. You'll need to play around with whatever it is that you want to do, but most cameras do, most webcams, this is a webcam, most of them have a way for you to set your focus point, and you can decide that. But for me, I was just setting this up just to show the point. But yes, I understand that having it focus and unfocus is distracting. So yeah, part of the problem is my hands also cast a shadow, which changes the light, which I also haven't set up the white balance for this shot. So yeah, I'm doing great. I hope everyone else is doing great. So I am gonna have another sip of my coffee. So for those of you in the chat, have you considered a multicam? Are you using a multicam already? What are you going with? What was your choices? What have you decided to go with? Because for me, when I very first started on the Fiberific channel, there wasn't a lot of income coming in. And so I just went with, I had a real dodgy, I think it was like a 480p face cam webcam. I actually still have that in a drawer. I don't use it, but I still have it because it's awful. But technically it still works. And then I had this one for my hand, not that one, but I had the C920 for my hand shots. And then I upgraded and I was using a Surface Pro 4 as my webcam. So I do. I don't think it's a quick cam, but I definitely have a Logitech 480 floating around. It's not in that drawer. I think it's in a box. But I do have one here. They're awful. But if that's what you've got, give it a try. And if it's enough, it's enough. I honestly am not sure about a 480p webcam, if that's going to be good enough. Personally, right now, I probably wouldn't use anything under a 720. But it's totally up to you and what it is that you're doing. Like for the Louis cam, it doesn't have to be anything flash or fancy because it's just, bringing in the pop-up. Why did that not bring up the camera? I don't know why oh, there we go. It just took a second. But yeah, so it's just showing the pop-up. I don't need it to be U-Butte and super duper awesome. I just need it to show my puppy dog. If I wanted it to be better, I would have the 30,000 the 30,000 lumens, getting him right in his little dog face. Do you need a switcher board to switch between cameras? I use the Melon app program. I don't know anything about the Melon app program. I personally haven't used it, but usually it'll be some sort of scene switching. Especially if you're using webcams and things like that, you'll just need to create scenes and then switch the scene. I have a Stream Deck set up with some of these, not all of these. Some of these I just quickly put together for today's stream. But I have a Stream Deck where I can just press a button for some of them. But as long as you can change scenes, you can create a scene, add in a camera. Some apps are funny about how many cameras you can bring in, or you have to pay more for additional cameras, things like that. So keep that in mind as well when you're looking at going down this path. Make sure that the app you're working with can do it. Oh, Melon has Streamlabs, then yeah, just create another scene and bring in that extra camera with that scene. And then you can just change scenes. Now, the other thing is if you do have multiple HDMI cameras, and it's less budget, but an A10 mini switcher is a way to go if you've got a pile of HDMI cameras. So for me, I've only got the one HDMI camera right now. The rest are all plugged in with USB or coming in through continuity cam. So that means I don't need to buy that additional piece of hardware to make the cameras run, which is one of the reasons why on a budget, you might be better off using a phone or or an old camera or something like that that's USB. It'll depend on what you've got and what you're using. If you're a person who already has a couple of HDMI clean output cameras, spending the money for an ATEM switcher or a Rode Video or whatever it is that you want to go with, and go from there and see how that goes. Like if you want to buy one of those more expensive pieces of gear, I mean, they're not the most expensive out there, and they do the job. And if you want those high quality HDMI inputs for everything, you may need something like that. Nick Nimmin, his streams, he uses an ATEM Mini. Definitely for when he's at home in his home studio. Doug might have to clarify if they're using one in the shared studio. I think they are. I'm not entirely certain. Let's have a look. Software app or cloud switching is so prevalent now. Yes. You only need a switcher if you have multiple HDMI cameras. Yes. Yeah. You are limited by the USB bus in your computer. That's actually a really important thing. So you cannot have unlimited cameras. You're going to have to go and test it out. But most people really, especially if they want a bit of multicam for something specific, they really only need one or two extras. Like I can honestly say, I had the iPad set up, I've got the two iPhones set up, and this and that and that. I never use that many in one show. I have this guy here as a backup, sometimes just for a little bit of fun. I'll just switch over to him just to be like, and now we're going to do something exciting. You know, like a bit of a joke or a bit of fun, because that's how my communities roll, right? But I don't use this one a lot. It is really a backup, right? It is really just there to be a backup. Whereas I do prefer using this one. Also, it's more comfortable. I'm more comfortable sitting here. And if I'm doing stuff on my desk, sitting like this while I'm doing stuff with my hands here, not comfortable, right? So, but usually for my Fiberific live streams, which has the most cameras, I use this camera. I use my overhead webcam. I have the Louis cam. If he happens to be on the mat, I'll make sure it's on. And I've just started bringing in what we're calling close-up cam, which is on the other iPhone. And I've just got it sitting on just a little, you know, little phone mount thing out of the way. And then when I need to use it, I just switch to it. And then, you know, I'll be like, oh, you wanted to see the thing close up. Here is a $5 note. You know, like, oh, look at the detail on that. Louis, I love you, bud. You know, like, look at the cute, like, you know, Parliament House, rah, rah, rah. Like, here is our cash money from Australia. So, and then I turn it off. Then I go back to, you know, whatever scene I wanted to be in, and I turn that off. I don't tend to leave that one on. But I will quite often run half a stream using my overhead system. So you have to think about, what is it you're trying to do? What are you trying to show? What is the effect that you want when you are streaming, when you are making your content? What is it that the image, what is the show that you want to push out? Because it's also more for you to think about, right? And as Russell said earlier, he's had no one complain about the camera quality or the tech on his channel. They're too busy focusing on the content. And he's right. You can make perfectly good content and not have all the bells and whistles. This is more if you specifically want something or a specific image, or you want to try, or you want to have a play and decide if this is something you want going forward. These are just some options that you can utilize, possibly with stuff you already have. So, you know, or you can borrow from your kid, or you can, you know, talk to a mate and be like, hey, can you bring over your iPhone? I'm an Android guy, but I'm running eCam. You know, like, which is the big joke in our house. Like, Chantelle hates Apple, but somehow she's now an Apple user. It's weird. Okay. Oh, absolutely. The Rode Video Master or Video Caster, I think it is probably overkill. I agree. I 100% agree. I think the A10 Mini is probably that good middle point for most people to go. If they've got like a couple of cameras, I think it can take 4 HDMI cameras. And, you know, I think the A10 Mini, but I know some people will want everything all in one. So, Amazing Yacht Destination says, I'm considering to buy a second Canon C100 Mark A. I don't know what that is. A2. If it's going to do what you want it to do and you're making content and you need that second shot, then, you know, have a good think about it. Tech for your needs. Oh, going to use my iPhone as a second camera. Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. It may or may not do what you want, but you are not going to know until you test it out. Now, I've got these all set to pretty close up because of the kind of work I do with them. You can zoom them out. You can make them nicer. Let me just see if I can zoom it out. Let me see if I can just steal a screen share from something else. Oops, that's trying to connect to the iPad. I'm just going to see if I can steal a screen share from one of my other productions. And no, I don't have any easy. Oh, we can steal this one. And then what we can do is change it to that. No, hang on. I want that camera to be the 11. Oh, it's locked, is it? Unlock it. Change the camera to the iPhone 11. I should have done that sooner. Camera A. No, it's not going to let me do it. 2 cams. Usually there's a button that I can hit on the side, but because I've got all these overlays on it, it's not letting me get to the button I want to get to. Let's see if I can. There we go. So it's just doing me side by side, which is fine, but you can totally, like, you know, I can have it up higher and then can I zoom that out? No, I can't zoom that out, but you can bring it up higher. You can bring it in closer. You know, you've got options. You can play with it, is the point. You can see what works for you. You can give it a go. The other thing is, I think some of the continuity camera problems I'm having with this is because of the phone. It's not because of Apple. It's because of the phone. And so, because the phone is not good. It's broken. It's a broken phone, but it's doing okay for what I need it for. So you're the one that took the forbidding bite out of the Apple logo. No, it was always there. It was always there. All right, let me have a look back through here. So yeah, so we've got a lot of options. And I think this is the problem. There's so many options. There's so many choices. And which way do you go? I recommend testing something you've already got. You know, if you've got a phone, if you've got an iPad, if you've got something, grab the free version of the Epoch Cam. It'll have some stuff around it, but it'll give you an idea on whether it's worth you paying for the full software, right? You'll be able to work out, okay, is this worth me doing this? Does this look good enough? Do I need to go and buy anything else? Like for my overhead system, I have to have a way to mount it because I talk with my hands, right? Having something here is not good. So one of the things that I do every now and again on my other channel is I will spin. So, you know, treadle on a spinning wheel, make the wool. And I want a camera for my face and a camera for my spinning wheel. So on those days, I have a camera over my shoulder and it creeps me out. I feel like there's someone looking over my shoulder the whole time, which is weird and dumb, but it just does. But having this options around makes that possible. So what I tend to do is I actually use my webcam as my face cam, and I use this guy over here. Where is he? This guy watches the spinning wheel. So being able to have that over my shoulder pointing at the wheel so you get a really nice shot of the wheel as well being able to have all these different things and being able, it gives me more options on the content that I can make. Now, if you're a talking head talking head channel, do you need multiple cameras? Possibly not. Possibly not. But do you want them? Maybe. Like, you know, that one and this one and that one and this one. You can play with it. It's your call. It's your creativity. It's your creativity. John says, wait, you have a spinning wheel? About 5? I have a lot of spinning wheels. I love spinning wheels. Let's hear. As a free alternative to bring a phone into OBS browser, use Video Ninja. It's a little hack that I found. That is fantastic. That's a great tip. So the Video Ninja is the same company that makes Social Stream Ninja. It's the same guy that makes all of them. And so he does this really well. So I'm sure that would be pretty good. Oh my gosh, $20 US for a Logitech Quipcam, brand new in the package. Oh, if you really want that 480p, go that way. I do recommend getting a 1080p. At worst, drop it down to a 720 and go from there. Suze, if you can stop that spam in my chat, that's oh, Doug got him. Thank you, Doug. And there we go. So we don't have that stuff here on this channel. Sorry. Let me go back to where there's an actual comment. I tried to use DroidCam tethered to my computer via USB, and it was so unreliable. I don't know what DroidCam is. I haven't heard about it, because it's the thing. I don't know everything. I don't know how to use every piece of software. I don't know how to use every piece of equipment. I just know how to make what I've got do what I need it to do, with some jiggery pokery sometimes, you know, like standing on a ladder, attaching a camera to my light fitting with a Velcro strip, which I've just realized the Velcro strip is still up there. And then, you know, having it point down. It's just try with what you've got. If it works for you, great. If not, and you actually realize, okay, I really want that, then have a look around and see what it is. See what the next step up is. See, watch other creators who are doing what you want to do and see what they've got. Yeah, the Bandhammer timeout, bring it. Don't mess with us. You've got Doug here. I'm a bit slower, but I'll still bring it out. John says, yeah, you just need one way that works for you. And that is it. That's the game, people. You need to find the way that works for you. If you don't want multiple cameras, or if you're like 100% sure that it doesn't matter what kind of quality of video you're putting out because your content is so good, then that doesn't matter. Then don't do it. Just go with what you're doing. If that's working for you, let it work for you, right? But if you want to have some fun, if you want to stretch some creativity, because some of us are here because it's our creative outlet, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. It's my creative outlet. I love making things. I love creating things. And that includes fun live streams and fun videos. And if that means I get a second camera or some fun colored lights, none of that is necessary, right? None of it is necessary, but it is fun, right? It is fun. And sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you want that bit of fun. It's going to come down to what kind of channel you have, where you're at with it. Is it strictly business, you know? And are you able to have some fun? I've been watching this this cooking channel, and they're very serious. They put out recipe books. They've got a lot of money. But they still are making their streams, well, they're not streams, making their videos fun and entertaining by having a couple of camera angles, playing with some, like, you know, pals that pop up on screen. It makes it somewhat more engaging while you're waiting for the thing on the stove to cook, right? So it depends on what you want. John says, to be honest, different angles are fun, but I have a green screen, I can't even say it, constraint. It doesn't really work for me. Yeah. And we're all going to have our own limitations. We're going to have space limitations, budget limitations, internet limitations, software limitations. There's always going to be something. And you just need to find what works for you. If you don't want to do this, that's totally cool. There's no one out here going, you must have multiple cameras. If they're saying that, run away. Right? Run away. Now, there are reasons why I like to have multiple cameras, and it's because of the kind of content that I'm making. I don't tend to do it here on this channel, but I do it on my craft channel a lot, and that is because I need to be showing what I'm working on. So you need to be looking at what is your content. Will multiple cameras be beneficial or distracting? And you need to look at what your audience will like as well. It can't always just 100% be about you. But in saying that, if you're a person who finds technology distracting or finds the scene switching distracting and it will take you out of your zone, then maybe don't go with it. Because if it downgrades your content just for the sake of having the extra cameras, is it really doing what you want it to do? Russell says, if it's your hobby, then shiny objects can be a lot of fun. But if you're looking to build it a business, beware these distractions. It depends on what your business is. So I see a lot of gaming streamers who have multi-cameras. They're making great money. They run really solid businesses, but they have a lot of shiny distractions. And it's to keep the audience engaged as well. So here we have in these streams, I'm leaving the emoji wall on because it's fun. It's a little bit like, so if you put an emoji in the chat, it'll float around the screen. Some people that would drive them insane. Don't have it. But if you're okay with it, if you think it's fun and your audience enjoy using it, then what's the harm? But it's going to depend on the kind of business that you're running, the kind of audience that you have. There are people that don't even like it when you have music in the background. So, you know, you've got to decide what your audience wants. And I can't speak for your audience. I can't speak for you. You need to decide, have a good sit down and a think about it. Because if your content just needs a serious face, a serious person giving the information, then you don't need multi-cameras in your live streams. So it's going to come down to what it is that you're doing. Scene and camera angles can help with pattern disrupt. Absolutely. Are you currently listening to your favorite song? That's cool. That's very cool. I don't think I have a favorite song. I don't even have a favorite genre of music. I love music and I listen to it all the time. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think I've got any favorites. John says, depending on your software setup, you can often just use the same camera, but crop and zoom to make it look different. You can do that, especially like with OBS. Ecamm will do the same thing. You've got some options there. Sometimes that camera can't do what you need it to do. Like for me, I could crop and zoom this for, you know, to push me to the side or something like that, so I can have like a screen share or something like that. Like prime example is here, table view. So exactly the same camera, and I've got it cropped into a corner for something else to be going on. You could have this as a screen share. I think I have. Oh, I don't want to show myself. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a screen share thing, but no, I've got nothing to share on the other screen. I've got nothing to share. But yeah, you can totally do that. But for me, I need the second camera because I need this angle. So that camera can't do this. So it's going to come down to what it is that you as an individual are going to need for your individual streams. So yeah, you just need to, you know, keep an eye out. Oh, John says, I remember in the 2010s when YouTubers would do jump cuts for every word. Oh gosh. Yeah, I remember that as well. And another person's amazing production values is another person's this is making me nauseous. Absolutely. You need to consider your audience. The wobble cam and handheld can get nauseous real quick, says Doug. 100%. And I am notoriously not good, which is why my things are all on stands so that I can just switch to it. And I'm more inclined to like using my close-up cam, which, what have I called it here? It's the iPhone share. Yeah, so I'll be more inclined to go, ooh, look at the thing, rather than bring the camera over, because like if I bring the camera over, oh, where is it? Come here, little thing. There you go, look at the thing, but then I'm wobbling, you know? I get it, absolutely. Work out what works for you and your audience. You know, like for me, that is better because I can show it. They still get the detail. They still can see what they need to see. And no wobble, because the wobbling does bother people. So you got to be careful. You got to be aware. But at the same time, it still needs to be fun, right? Yeah, bring the thing to the camera, not the camera to the thing. That's it for me. That's it. Now you might have surgeon's hands and do that beautiful like sweepy shot and have it just do. That's not me, and I know my limitations. Therefore, my things are on stands. But if that's you, that could be so much fun as well. I've seen like I'm not sure if any of you watched Nutty. I've been watching Nutty for years. He's an Australian. Well, he lives in Australia. He's and he creates these really fun live streams where his audience can trigger his cameras to move. And his audience absolutely love it. So sometimes you have to think about how you keep, like, he's a gaming channel. He creates gaming content. He plays live on Twitch. And the audience, when they do something like, it's usually like a Twitch bits or super chats, an income that comes in, and they get to move one of his cameras. And he uses some PTZ cameras. So they can like zoom in on something. They can be like zooming in on this screen, or they can zoom in on this other thing. So you've got these options. And like, I know that like, yeah, he works on a US clock. Absolutely. But he goes all in. And I know it sounds bizarre, but when I very first started my live streaming for my yarn craft channel, right? Like, let's just get that in your head. Knitting and crochet channel. Where did I go to learn live streaming techniques? Gamers. Because they're the ones doing the cutting edge of multi-streaming, of live streaming, of multicam, of audio, of all sorts of things. So having these guys out there who are just like, they're riding the crest of the wave. I'm like waiting for the wave to come in, crash, pull back, and then I run in and dabble my toes and run back before the wave comes again. These guys are riding the wave, right? They are like, so if you are someone who is live streaming, go and watch some of the good gaming live streamers to get an idea. So it and making it for what you want for your content. So as I said, I don't do a lot of camera switching on this channel because there's no need, right? Except for as backups when everything crashes and burns. But on my Fiberific channel, it is necessary. Let's have a look here. My friend Sam Proof used to live stream his foster kittens with the PTZ, and Twitch users would direct them based on channel points. Yeah, like, so these, and people love the pets. Don't they, Lulu? Yeah, they do. I have to bring Louie back. People love the pets. They do. Having an international audience can wreak havoc on your sleep schedule. Working for international streamers also messes with your sleep schedule as well. Russell says, Fiberific is a great example of a good use of a multicam show. You do a good job there. Yeah, it's a good fit. And this is the thing. It's not going to be a good fit for everybody. And you have to make the decision, is it going to be a good fit for you? Or is it just you wanting to play? And wanting to play is not a bad thing, but do you want that? You know, sometimes you just need to sit down and play in the software and not stream and know that you can do it. Know that you've got a phone backup if this camera crashes and burns. You know you're ready to switch, have it there ready. But yeah, it's definitely the way to go. You need to decide if it's going to work for you or not. Almost every American I know goes live at 3 a.m. my time, and respectfully, I will always be asleep. Oh, I don't. On Saturday nights, my time, I flip to a US time zone. So what I do is I'll go out and do stuff through the day. Actually, Saturday mornings, I usually have a mentorship group I'm a part of. So I've got like an 8 a.m. call for that. Then I go out and either I will have a productivity stream on my Fiberific channel that starts at 10, or I'm out at something or doing something with my family or whatever. Then I try to be in bed by 5 p.m. I have a sleep until about 9:30, so 4.5 hours, preferably. I like those 90-minute intervals. I wake up better. And then I wake up and I have my dinner late, and then I mod for Doug, and then I mod for Nick, and then if Daryl's streaming, I mod for Daryl. Daryl's streams can go until nearly 5 a.m. my time. By the time I have a shower and go to bed, my husband's up. So yeah, oh, there goes that dabbling again, toes in the water. It's more that because for what I'm doing, I don't need to be riding the wave for those kinds of things, because I'm looking at it from the perspective of my audience, and usually it's the Fiberific audience, because this is the setup we use for here. I don't need anything else. I've got decent audio, I've got a good camera, good to go, right? Whereas with the Fiberific audience, we need to be making sure that I'm got I've got my hands down cameras working, therefore because it's a webcam, I need to really dial in the lighting, all this sort of stuff. And so I just like to keep an eye on what's going on. So Sunday morning is a very impressionable time. Ask for favors, and no. When I'm tired, I don't make any decisions, because the chances of me just going, yeah, no, every time. So yeah, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. Oh dear. Yeah, so I like to watch the wave. Like, let's go back to that analogy. I like to watch the wave. I like to see what they're doing on the wave, and then go, oh, I like that bit of that. How do I do that? And then when the wave crashes, I run in and then run back out again to watch the wave again. So Doug says, I have not recovered from Saturday's shenanigans just yet. Doug, I feel you. I feel you, because I went to bed at about 5:30 Sunday morning, and then I had to be up and out the door by 10 a.m. for my mum's birthday. And then so I was up all day. Like, I slept in the car. Let's not lie, my husband drove. I slept in the car for an hour or so. Went to my mum's, had a fantastic day with my mum. And then we jumped in the car and I slept coming home. So I think I've got about an hour and a half coming home. And then I had my dinner. I got a couple of things done, and then I crashed. And I slept from 10:30 all the way through to 6. It was great. It was great. Let's just go with that. Oh my gosh. So do you think, like, after having sat through this, do you think a multi-camera setup is something you would consider for your audience? Or do you think that it's not necessary? Because depending on your content, it's just not. But is it something you want to have a go with? Is it something you want to have a try? And has anything I've suggested been a surprise? Or not? Or not? You're all pretty cluey, so probably not. Like, let's be honest. So one thing I want to do is I want to go over to here. And we've got our watch time goal. So we are still slowly eking up from week on week, which is good because, you know, with the 365-day rollover, sometimes you lose the day at the start and add the day at the end. So we're still increasing, so which is cool, and I'm so happy. So yeah. And we're still going, and the subscribers are increasing as well, which I think is really cool. So by the time we actually get, by the time I actually get to that 3,000 watch hours, it could possibly be already at the 1,000 subscribers. Like that's always the fun of it, right? That's the fun of it. Now let me just drop that off. Go back to this screen. There we go. We're always cluey. Yeah, you guys are always cluey. Is that an Australian thing? It could be an Australian thing. I don't even know. Watch more content and bring a friend. Yes, please. If you and your friends like content about YouTube and about live streaming, go for it. Do you guys have any questions about, you know, anything YouTube live streaming? Russell says, not really until I have a separate person operating the equipment, and then only for very sophisticated videos. Fair enough. Yeah, like if you're doing something special, I get that. Absolutely. Bring it. Oh, thank you guys. You know when you just make yourself that really nice cup of tea and it's just the right temperatures and everything and it's tasty and it's good? This is what I have. I was just like, because I'm actually really bad at making tea in Yetis. I always make it just too dang hot and I end up burning my face off. So that first sip is always a bit like, am I going to survive this? So, yeah. One thing I did want to just briefly skate onto is the new YouTube communities that's coming out. Not everyone has it. It's in beta. And so, you know, you can check to see if you've got it. I know a few creators have got it. I've been having some fun. I may have trolled Nick Nimmons a little bit just to see. I was testing to see the limits. I do that. And then I realized, as a moderator on this channel, maybe the limits don't apply quite so heavily, so I should just stop. But yeah, so it looks really fun. I like, especially for my fiberific community, I could see it being really great because people can upload photos. They'll be able to show their craft. They'll be able to show what they're doing. Downsides are you've got to keep an eye on it. You need to be moderating it. You need to be having a look at it. But I think there's a lot of pluses. And if you've got a smaller channel or you've got moderators on a larger channel, I think it'll actually be a fun thing. And you have to opt into it. You're not put into it automatically. You'll need to opt in. So when you have the options on your phone, because it's mobile only at this stage. So when you go and look at your channel, you'll get to see if you've got the option to turn on the community posting. It's all very confusing how we had the community tab and then posts, and they could have come up with another name just to not have it, right? Like just to make it fun. And Doug says you can turn it off and on. Yeah, so if it gets a bit chaotic, you can just turn it off for a while until you can get back on top of it. I checked out about 10%-ish of the channels I'm sub to have the new posts tab instead of the communities tab. Yep. So on Fiberific channel, I've got the post tab now, but I still don't have access to the communities. Like I don't have access to being able to turn it on to be able to let my audience come in and do it. But it's changed its name to post now. Russell says, I think for most the challenge of going live in a semi-professional manner is daunting. Suggesting multicams and intricate software interfaces may make it seem unreachable. I think if you're coming into this and you've never streamed before, it could possibly be it. You could possibly be right. But I also know that there's people out there that aren't interested in live streaming until they've got what they want, until they can have their 2 camera angles showing what they need, because there's no point in them live streaming if they can't show what they're doing, like whether they're doing live unboxings or something like that. So until they can get their head around that second camera, they're not going to be live streaming at all. So it's a balance. It's a balancing act, because I know it's not for everybody. And you're right, it could seem daunting for some people. A lot of the easier to use softwares like StreamYard, they will allow you to have a second camera. Zoom lets you have a second camera input. You know, like there's things that allow you to do these things a bit easier than how I do it. So you don't have to have eCam. You can be using like Zoom, like StreamYard or EVMux or something like that, allows you to have a secondary input, still utilizing easier to use software. So you've got options. There's things that you can do. But there are people out there that are not interested in live streaming unless they can have their second shot. Oh, Doug's got the post tabs. Yeah, I've got the post tabs. Do I have it on this channel? I don't know. I'll just have a quick look. I checked the Fiberific because I really want it over there. I probably won't turn it on here, but I'll definitely have it on over at Fiberific. What am I doing? I'm going to YouTube. I'm going to the Fiberific channel. Fiberific. Okay. Oh no, I wasn't going to Fiberific. I was coming here. Numpty. Total numpty. Try again. Try again. Yeah, it's called posts on this channel as well, even though I still don't have access. So yeah. The community tab is called post now. I have the post tab. Yeah. And I think that change is happening as a precursor to communities appearing under the post tab. So it's all very convoluted, Tech for Your Needs. It's all very convoluted. So, you know, it is. So I think most people, like, let me know. Let me know in the chat if on your channel your community tab has now changed to, oh, I just got a notification that my continuity cam battery is going flat. Good job. Thanks for that warning. Didn't know you did that. Awesome. So yeah, let me know in the chat, like, is your community, like, from your public facing homepage, when you swipe across on, I was checking on my phone, has community changed to post? Just put yes in the chat. Yeah, that's right. And in the back end of your studio, the comments tab has been changed to community. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. Yeah, and I think this is the point. You start to get started, and then you add on the extra stuff as you're comfortable, or you get comfortable with what you need to get started. And by need, I mean need. I don't mean want. I mean need. So for me, I had to get comfortable with 2 cameras straight away. My first live streams had 2 cameras. I don't know if it's still up. I'll double check it, but I believe my first live streams over on my Fiberific channel were always 2 cameras, because for me, that is what I needed. To get the content I wanted to make, I needed a second camera. So that can be part of it. But Russell's right also, that you can get lost in the weeds if it's something that you don't need. See, I'm one of these people, and I may be a minority, right? But I'm one of these people that if I need something, whether it's like I need to learn a particular knitting technique, I want to learn how to spin a specific yarn, I want to live stream with two cameras, I want to use this live streaming software, you know, I want to switch from Windows to Mac, I make the effort to learn how to do it. I go and research it and I learn it because it's something I need, right? It's not just a want. It's something I need to do. So I make sure I learn how to do it. wait, Livestream Consultant says, I just checked your channel and on my phone, your channel still shows community. Really? Let me just, I could have sworn I just looked at it like, I mean, I may have, you know, zoned. I've got, let's have a look here. I've got home. So I'm on my Fiberific channel. Home, videos, shorts, live, podcasts, playlists, and posts. So I've definitely got posts right there at the end. Who am I logged in? I'm going to log in as someone else. Switch account. Log in as Fiberific. Go to the channel. And just see what I see when I'm not logged in as me. Ah, it still says posts. That's perplexing. Russell says he says posts. Cool, cool, cool. John says he's got posts for both his phone and the desktop. Yep. Livestream Consultant says, I wonder if it's a location issue. I try and say it. A location issue since I'm in the States. Maybe. Yeah, Tech for Needs says needs versus wants. Yeah, because like for me, if I need to learn how to do something, I will just learn how to do it, right? I will dig in, I will make my brain cry, and I will learn how to do it. But if it's just something that's like a, you know, like, oh, that looks interesting. And if it's going to be hard, I'm like, not today. Not today. I'm too busy doing the thing. But if it's something I'm like, that would be perfect for this thing that I really want to just do, like today, setting up the iPad, which, like, you know, it wasn't the best view, but it showed you what you needed. Yeah, it could be, because that's weird. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But it is still, John says, if I can turn on the community, where would I find that setting? I think it's currently a pop-up. I personally haven't seen it, so I don't know how to turn it on, because I'm under the impression it's a pop-up. Oh, my coffee has been delivered. That is cool. I'm just going to jump into the back end of my channel here just briefly, just to see. No, I need to open. Oh, hang on. I've got a tab with it actually open already. Numpty. All right, so community. Let's see here. Doug would know, I think. John says I'm never popular enough to get the new features, so I might just move on with my life. I think everyone's going to get it, or everyone's going to get the option. But it's currently in beta, so I don't have it on any of my channels. So let me just, I want to go to the channel. It might start playing. Please don't start playing anything. Posts. I'm looking at customized channel just to see if that has it in there. No, I can't see, and I haven't. Yeah, I thought you had to access it through the pop-up, and that's what Doug says. On mobile, you'll go to your channel page and you'll get a pop-up. But yeah, I definitely don't have access at this stage. No pop-ups have appeared. Oh, yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm up to date, I think. Also, I am on I am on Android. But no pop-ups for me. Sad. Once I get them, I'll screen share them. I'll revisit this in 3 years, assuming it's not discontinued. Oh my gosh. Our live stream consultants have also checked a few other Aussies land, and none of them have posts yet. whereas Leanne sees that that we have posts on our channels. Interesting. Is it an iOS for like live stream consultants? Sorry, Louie, I'm just still on the phone. Oh, let's turn that off for a second. Live stream consultants, what phone are you on? Are you an Apple or an Android or because you know, I don't know, but I think Doug, you daily drive an iPhone, don't you? Let me look here. I'm just having a look. Just go away, video. Oh, there's a video that started and I want it to go away. How do I make it do that? X is on that side. Alrighty. Okay, let's have a look here. Now I've got posts on the iPhone as well. And I don't know if this iPhone's up to date. So that's a thing. Let's see if I go to my channel. I'm just checking on both iPhone and Android because believe it or not, they get different stuff. They get access to different things. I got posts on both of those. So yeah. There we go, Louis. Louis Cam can be placed back in place. So live streams on an iPhone, yeah. Oh, it shows the same thing on your Android as well. Yeah, so I'm seeing posts on both of mine, so maybe it's a geographical thing. I don't know. I don't know the answer. That's weird. I'll just go with that's weird. Doug says he sees posts on every channel that he's checking. I've seen every channel I've looked at, I'm seeing posts as well. Sometimes Australia gets some stuff rolled out pretty quick. Not often. I mean, we don't get, like, there's lots of things we don't have that you guys have. Like, we don't have access to the YouTube affiliates thing. So that's sad. Yeah, a mystery wrapped in enigma. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun thing. And as I said, I probably won't put it on this channel, at least not straight away, but I will probably allow it over on the Fiberific channel because it'll match with that. I'll be able to encourage some conversation. People will be able to share the photos of what they're working on, things like that. So you just, again, is it for you? Do you know? Have a think about it. Because just because you have access to it doesn't mean you have to use it. Yeah, Doug, that one's on you now, mate. That one's for you. I love that. I love that so much. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. Well, on that note, friends. Oh, Tech for Your Needs says he's seeing the post tab and he's in the USA. Oh, there you go. Community features on easy mode exposed. Oh my gosh. Russell says might be interesting, but also might dramatically increase moderation overhead. I mean, and that's the thing. It'll need to be moderated. It'll need to be moderated. So whichever way you look at it, if you've got a smaller channel and you do all your own moderation, you've got to decide, can you take on that extra moderation? But yeah. Leanne says, I think I may have just posted one. Where, Leanne? Tell me these things. X-Files music playing. Yeah. And now it's in my head. I can hear the X-Files music playing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It might be just an A/B test of labels that mean nothing. Yeah. I don't even have content. Is that possible? Oh, you've posted one. Oh, so you can create posts on your own channel. Like if you own the channel, but if I go to your channel, because this community thing, Leanne, it will mean that if you come to my Fiberific channel, go into posts, you can start a conversation and go, hey, this is my photo of my problem. Like, this is my photo of my project. What have I done wrong? And you could start the conversation and add up to 5 photos. Whereas right now, only the channel owner can. I'm going to your channel, Leanne. I'm going to check it out. It's also mobile only. It is the other thing. So let me just, I'm just double checking. I'm not on a top down. So Leanne. Craft room. Search. Leanne's craft room. Leanne made a post. That's your second post, Leanne. You made a post 5 months ago as well. But yeah, so you can make posts, but I can't post on yours. So yeah. Livestream consultant says it must be because I'm in the middle of nowhere in the desert of southern New Mexico. Yeah. You can try. I don't think I haven't enabled it. I haven't received the pop-up to say I can do it yet. John says, I never knew how popular your other channel was. 6.6k subs, very nice. Yeah, it's going. It's going. It's fun over there. We have a great time. So that's where I do all my testing, and all the community over there are awesome. they got to play. I let them, like, we had a discussion about the emoji wall, and I was just like, let's see if we could crash it. And the chat just went insane, and there was just emojis everywhere. We didn't crash it. So yeah, we have some fun over there. Yeah. Let's have a look. Livestream Consultants is too close to Roswell. The X-File music plays there for other reasons. I love that. This is the concern, Russell. Same sort of thing as having the public Facebook page. It'll bring on the trolls. Now, it is only subscribers that can post. And you can set that subscriber limit to, they have to have been a subscriber for a week before they can post. So they have to at least be subscribed to the channel. So that is one thing. But, you know, it's really easy to subscribe. But most people will see it as, most people will be like, oh, well, I have to subscribe for a week. I'll subscribe now, then I'll come back and troll. And they may never come back and troll. So, you know, and that's one advantage of it. That's one advantage of this thing is that you do have to be subscribed for it. Refresh your phone to see if that fixes the issue or not. Seeing posts for Chantelle. Also make sure that your phone is up to date. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, Russell definitely has trolls. Yeah. Yeah. John says, I'll come back next week and ask about your 5 spinning wheels. You can do that. You can do that. I really need to do another spinning live stream. I haven't done one for a while because I do have to rearrange everything and use different lighting and there's stuff on the floor here and I have to clean it out. I'm not live streaming anytime soon doing spinning, at least not spinning with spinning wheels, but this basket here is full of spindles so I can hand spin as well. So yeah. Both things. I'm like super passionate about YouTube and live streaming and Yarncraft. Hence 2 channels. She has some neat ones. It's fun to watch. Yeah, some of the spinning wheels are really interesting and different and fun. Yeah, absolutely. It is. It is. It's real, and it's also really relaxing. It's really relaxing. I love it. And this is why I have 2 channels, right? Because I love Yarncraft and I love this. So, yeah. Have you ever crafted something that you use in your live stream setup? I mean, other than all of that, no. I tend to like everything soft crafts. So like, I mean, one thing I did was I crocheted a bag to put cans in to use as a weight to keep a light right where I wanted it, a counterweight on a light. I'm just looking around. I don't think so. I think I just, yeah. I don't think so. I'm really tempted to actually weave a camera strap rather than crochet one, because crochet is stretchy. Whereas if I weave one, it'll be nice and yeah. Both very mesmerizing, both spinning and spindling. Absolutely. You can learn a lot about live streaming watching Fiberific. And this is the thing. I learned a lot about live streaming watching gaming, right? And there's people who literally come into the Fiberific live streams to learn about streaming because of the kinds of streams that I do, which is one of the reasons why I started this channel. But having like understanding that you can learn a skill or a technique from a channel well outside of your niche is a powerful thing. It's just like, you know, when people are like, there's these trends of all these different sorts of, you know, content styles. And people are like, oh, well, I can't do that on my channel because it's this different kind of channel. And the next thing you know, someone with that different niche is doing exactly that on their channel. And they've been able to go with what is trending and create it to be what they need it to be that suits their audience. It takes a special kind of brain to work it out. And I think we all need to work hard to get that brain, if that makes any sense at all. A prime example is there are crafters in the world that when they're looking at a pattern, they cannot visualize it in a different color. They need to see a photo of somebody else having made it in that different color. And it's exactly, oh, Doug's bought me a coffee. Wait, what did that coffee say? Hang on a second. Did it say something about Doug's being banned? I didn't think I banned Doug. Hang on. Oh my gosh. Thank you for banning me. I deserved it. Is Doug been banned? Doug's not banned. That didn't work as I intended it. I don't understand. Doug, what did I do? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh, Doug's gonna tell me later. Okay. Crochet up a camera strap or something. Yeah. I know there's 3D printable designs for accessories in the Elgato marketplace, although I don't have a 3D printer. I cannot buy a 3D printer because I will just print all of the things that I don't need. Yeah, if you bring something from outside of your field, you can really add to the creative possibilities. Yeah. Thanks, Doug. Yeah. And this is the thing, like it's definitely, we can learn things from different niches. Like, sure, maybe not the whole thing will work for you, but will 1% actually make a difference for something you're doing? That would be different. And even just watching to see how they interact with their audience, how they communicate, how they make things. I think there needs to be a Doug Shenanigans command. I don't have one right now, but I think we need one. But, you know, look at like how they interact with their audience. What kind of modding do they have? Do they allow certain things that you didn't think could happen? And, you know, like you can learn just from watching, and you don't have to, you can lurk. You don't have to tell them you're there if you don't want to. But yeah, you can learn stuff from other people all of the time, even if they're not an education channel. You can glean from their doing. So yeah. Anyway, this time I'm really going. I hope you all have a fantastic week. I hope you have a think about whether or not you think a second camera is something that would be advantageous for you or your channel, and have a play. See if it's something you enjoy. See if your current systems and processes will allow it. So have a good time with it. Just because you test it doesn't mean you use it. It may be a step too far, but it might be something that could be a game changer for you. So test it out, check it out, see what works for you and your audience, and have fun with your live streaming. I'll see you next time. Bye now.